Live from the Ball State News Center, this is NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Welcome to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Peter Hoffman.
And I'm Mackenzie Clark. Thanks for joining us.
Ball State freshman Zachary Barnes died unexpectedly today after falling ill, according to Director of Media Strategy Liz Renz Rhodes. Barnes was majoring in computer science and lived on campus in Neuer Complex. Hall Director Ashley Taylor and Matt Brown notified Neuer residents through an email. They said the counseling center is available for any student who may be struggling with Barnes' death. The Residence Hall hosted a remembrance reflection and celebration for Barnes in the Howick Clipple Lounge at 8 p.m. tonight. No other information is available at this time.
A Ball State student is in stable condition at the Bob Memorial Hospital Intensive Care Unit tonight. Muncie Police Lieutenant Seth Stanley says 21-year-old Sarah Swingley was crossing the street when she was run over by a vehicle just before 9 this morning. Stanley told the Star Press the driver, who is also a student, was turning from Ashland onto Martin, did not see Swingley, and ran over her in her stomach. The driver stopped when he heard Swingley scream. He tried to get help and asked bystanders to call 911. No charges are expected to be filed.
And hundreds of people gathered in Jay County Sunday night to remember 16-year-old Seth Corwin with a candlelight vigil. Corwin died Friday night when a pickup truck crashed into the living room of his Pennville home as he sat watching TV. The pickup truck was driven by Bryce J. Paxson, whose blood alcohol content measured at 0.175%, according to the Jay County Sheriff's Office. Vigil goers brought canned foods to benefit a local pantry in Corwin's honor.
While it was Election Day today, there was only one contested race that Muncie voters decided. Republican Dan Ridenhour squared off against Democrat opponent Todd Smeckens for District 2 City Council seat. Ridenhour received 69% of the vote and defeated Smeckens, who garnered 31%. NewsLink's Lindsey Ross talked with Ridenhour earlier today about his goals as city councilman.
The streets are horrible. And they've been on the paving list and they haven't been paved, and one of the things that I would be definitely hoping to do would be to get those streets paved so that it's better for the residents and Ball State students.
And Mayor Dennis Tyler won his re-election bid tonight as the 72-year-old Muncie native ran unopposed. Democrat Jill Hogsett will be the next mayor of Indianapolis. Hogsett defeated Republican Chuck Brewer in the race, receiving 62% of votes with roughly 51% of precincts reporting. Reports from many Marion County voting sites suggest low voter turnout in today's elections. Hogsett, who served as Indiana's Secretary of State in the 90s, will be taking over for Republican Mayor Greg Ballard, who last November announced that he would not be seeking re-election. Final turnout numbers are not expected until later in the week.
Today is Election Day. A local bar decided to offer a special incentive for people to go out and vote. From 6 p.m., Be Here Now gave free beer to citizens who could prove they voted with their ballot box selfie. Owner Whitney Stump hopes that the event sparked publicity for his venue while also encouraging Muncie residents to get out and vote.
Now, with every street that is approximately 1 to 2 miles off campus, the Muncie Street Department and SGA both partner up to fix these said potholes that are actually limiting Ball State students' accessibility to campus.
One of our campaigners in the spring, she mentioned that when she goes off campus, it's really hard for her because there's so many potholes and she is wheelchair accessible, so the streets aren't really suitable for her chair, and that's terrible. You know, if we're one of the most accessible campuses in the country and we can't have our students leave campus and they're kind of restricted to on campus, we're limiting their Ball State experience. So we really wanted to do something about that. Also, throughout the 4 years that we've been here, a constant complaint has been Muncie roads. You know, at Muncie potholes is a handle because of the amount of complaints. And I think if we weren't doing something about it, people would still be complaining about it.
Behind me is Light Street, and this street was actually one of the first streets to be helped with the whole pothole situation by SGA.
When I call in one pothole, they usually fill all the potholes on that specific street. so it's not just the one pothole. Another big part of this point is to collaborate with the city so that students know they're not just Ball State students, but they're citizens of Muncie as well. So.
In Muncie for NewsLink Indiana, I'm Paris Bouslan.
Now you can tweet at Ball State SGA if you see more troublesome potholes and want to make Ball State more accessible. Now, Peter, I don't know if you got on Snapchat today, but the little part that told you the temperature said 70.
I don't even know what that is, but it was hot out because that's just how they used to do it back in the day, Mackenzie. However, Michael Behrens knows much more.
More than Snapchat about the weather. So, Behrens, what is in store for us?
I don't know about Snapchat, but I mean, I've at least had a thermometer that told me it was 70 degrees outside today, and I would definitely trust that. We're going to have more 70-degree days here in the next couple of days as well. But we cool down at night, though, as we're sort of in that sort of fall transition period where we have the cool nights and the warm days. 52 degrees right now here in Muncie. Clear skies out there. The sky is going to stay clear in the overnight tonight, and the radar going to stay clear as well. Nothing here across central Indiana. If we expand this, take a look at the whole region, there's really nothing to show you on the radar as well. Clear skies across the entire region, but it's not going to stay that way throughout the entire forecast. We have some storms on the way, and those will be to end this week, with the warmer weather coming to an end as well. So we break down what we have coming up for you. We have a look at some fog for your morning commute tomorrow. It shouldn't be too bad, but there will be a few foggy spots out there. The warm weather will continue at least for the next couple of days. And then again, we have the storms to wrap up the week. We'll break that down coming up in your full forecast.
Thanks, Michael. Coming up, if you've had trouble finding Wi-Fi in Indy, maybe you want to get on Snapchat, you may be in luck.
And the spirit of Halloween is being carried overseas. To find out how, stay tuned. And welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. The Delaware County Salvation Army is preparing for the upcoming holiday season by taking applications for volunteers. Debbie Johnson has more on how you can be involved.
With the holiday season quickly approaching, what better time than right now to get involved in your local community? The Salvation Army of Muncie is taking volunteers to assist them in the upcoming Thanksgiving and Christmas seasons.
Right now we're currently taking holiday applications all the way up till this Saturday, which would be November 7th until 2 p.m. So from 10 to 2 on Saturday, that's our last day of the holiday applications. And in that holiday application, we're hoping to be able to get you adopted to a family for maybe a Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner or a basket or both. So you could feasibly get all three. And we have Muncie Toys for Tots helping us with their Christmas drive with the firefighters, which are, every year take all of our names and really take on a lot of our clients that come to us. So we are very grateful for that too.
Last year, the Delaware County Salvation Army had 803 volunteers, totaling in 2,990 service hours. They were able to serve 15,408 people during the holiday season. If you'd like more information on how to become a volunteer, you can contact the Social Services Coordinator, Christina Maddie. The Salvation Army is always looking for volunteers and assistants. In Muncie, for NewsLink Indiana, I'm Demi Johnson.
Now, for more information and to answer your questions on involvement, you can visit their website at samuncie.org.
And orthodontist and dentist offices around the country are participating in candy buyback programs. Candy turn-in at 3 different locations, offices in the Fort Wayne area, will end up in the hands and presumably the stomachs of soldiers overseas. Angela Becker Orthodontics started donating candy to troops in 2004. Since then, her office has donated more than 900 pounds of candy. This year, Becker's office offered an additional incentive. For every pound of candy, the child will receive $1, and $1 will be donated to their school.
For those visiting downtown Indianapolis, you will now get free Wi-Fi on Georgia Street. Downtown Indy announced it's partnering with Fiber Indy to provide the service. No password is required to connect to the network named Georgia Street Wi-Fi by Fiber Indy. Georgia Street has hosted many events in the past, including the 2012 Super Bowl Village. Fiber Indy is also offering add-ons to area merchants and event organizers, including managed Wi-Fi, managed security, cloud storage, and additional access points.
Anderson parents at Valley Grove Elementary are upset after not being informed of a school bus incident. One child had a split lip and another had whiplash after students said their bus was in a crash on the way to school. According to school officials, the bus hit a pothole and they were not obligated to inform the parents since no official accident report was filed. The district is implementing a new policy where drivers must report when they hit potholes so the administrators can check on the students.
A poll worker was killed today on the south side of Indianapolis. According to police, 74-year-old Victor Risch was hit by a passing vehicle around 6 this morning. The Army veteran was struck after getting out of his car in the center lane of a street near his home. Police do not know why he left his car and are currently investigating the accident. The collision was believed to be a hit and run, but police are now saying that the driver remained on the scene. A fatal alcohol crash team was called, but investigators do not believe that alcohol was a factor.
And one of the victims of the Wednesday night shooting at Washington Square Mall is facing criminal charges. 26-year-old Aaron Carr has been arrested on preliminary charges of carrying a handgun without a license and theft. Carr and 2 others were hospitalized with not life-threatening injuries after 2 men opened fire at the East Side Indianapolis Mall on October 28th. Indianapolis police are still searching for the shooters. They are believed to be between the ages of 19 and 20. Investigators believe the shooting was not random.
A Salt Lake City assault is currently being investigated as a hate crime. A man with a Confederate flag decal on his truck was reportedly beaten multiple times by attackers in a hotel parking lot. Kelly Leeper, a witness and a friend of the unidentified victim, says that racial slurs were used on both sides, which could have made the incident a hate crime. Neither Leeper nor his friends were seriously injured. Police are looking further into the encounter.
And coming up, what weather to expect for the rest of the week.
Your 4 weather forecast is coming up. Stay tuned. Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. Well, Peter, it was really warm and then it was really cold and now it's really warm and it's like a sandwich and it's National Sandwich Day.
That was a stretch, but
that was
that's
what
true.
I decided. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I had a burger today. Does a burger count?
I had a turkey sandwich. Anyways,
Okay.
Let's see if the weather's still going to be a sandwich. Michael, what do you have in store for us?
If you want to compare it to a sandwich, we're missing the bottom piece of bread because it's going to be warm and then it's not looking like it's going to get warm again later next week. You check out things here on the almanac. Usually I don't show this to you guys, but check out this. 71 degrees today, average high 57. We are much warmer than we should be for this time of year, so it's really a treat right now. We can't really expect this weather to last, and it's not going to last more than a couple of days before we return to more seasonable temperatures here across Indiana. You can see all the warm air moving up into Indiana from the south. It's cooling down tonight, though. We're back into the 50s right now. We'll keep cooling down in the overnight hours, but again, we'll be warm once again tomorrow, back up into the 70s tomorrow afternoon. Across the state right now, 62 in Indy, 55 Lafayette, 52 here in Muncie. We'll put these temperatures in motion for you in the overnight. We see we drop down a little bit, but back into the 70s for tomorrow and back into the 60s by tomorrow evening. The high 60s, 68 by 5 o'clock here in Muncie. And the warm temperatures do stick around one more day after tomorrow. Now the radar across the region, that's perfectly clear at this hour. It's going to remain clear into the overnight hours and the entire region as a whole under clear skies as well. We're going to see that trend continue for, again, at least one more day before we get some storms in here near the end of the week to change up our weather pattern just a little bit. Going on to Precision Cast here, we'll see clear skies tonight. The cloud cover in the southern parts of the state early tomorrow starts to rise into our region by the afternoon. We see partly cloudy skies here across Muncie. This model throwing a few scattered rain showers in there as well, but we're not going to include those in the forecast. We think it should stay dry here on Wednesday, and the rain chances don't really start to pick up until we get into Thursday. You see some scattered rain showers around the region Thursday morning. Again, I'm not holding a high degree of confidence that we'll see the scattered rain showers, but we will have the storm threat and a better rain chance come in later in the day on Thursday. We see this big system back out toward the west. That's going to start to push its way through our area late Thursday night, early Friday morning. This could bring us some thunderstorms in addition to the rainfall. We're going to keep an eye on those, see if any of those end up on the stronger side. By 6 a.m., the heart of the storm's moving through Muncie, and they clear out by Friday afternoon. But unfortunately, that weather system moving through does mean cooler temperatures will be on the way for the weekend. Now for the overnight hours tonight, mostly clear, 50 degrees, the low a southeast wind, that 3 to 8 mile per hour range. We will see some fog in the overnight. We'll put that in motion here for you too as well. The fog not going to be too dense, just some patchy fog out there. This model showing you by 7 o'clock, 3.6 miles here in Muncie. Should be fine. I wouldn't expect to see too many school delays out there tomorrow morning, but there could be a few if that fog gets dense, especially in some of the more rural locations. But again, that burns off pretty quickly as we head into the afternoon. Speaking of tomorrow afternoon, warm temperatures once again, 72, partly cloudy, that near record warmth. The south winds in that 5 to 10 mile per hour range. Now taking a look at the 7-day forecast for you here, we see the 72 on Wednesday, the 73 on Thursday for you. That's also the day we do have the chance for a little bit on the stronger side of storms again in the overnight hours of Thursday into early Friday. The SPC has us under a marginal risk at this time, so we'll keep an eye on that as we get closer to it. But again, after that rain moves through, the temperatures start to take a downward pattern. Only 66 by Friday, 54 on Saturday. The sun does return though, although our temperatures, they're not going to recover. 51 Sunday, 54 Monday, with more rain chances coming in late Monday into Tuesday. High of 56 on Tuesday.
So be sure not to wear a big jacket to your 8 a.m. because it's going to be hot before you know it.
You may be cool in the morning with that 50-degree temperature, but you're going to want to get rid of that jacket as quickly as you can by the afternoon hours.
Absolutely. Well, next, find out which Ball State coach just signed a professional sports contract.
The Ball State women's basketball team is a couple weeks away from opening up their regular season. We'll have a live report from Worthen Arena to find out how they did in their exhibition game next on Sports.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Jacqueline Brzali with your sports. Ball State women's basketball team hosted Urbana University in their annual exhibition game tonight at Worthen Arena. The Cardinals ended their 2014-2015 season at 17-14, winning the MAC West title for the first time since 2009. Ball State has even higher expectations for this season, with 2 players being named to the All-MAC West Division pre-season team. And it all starts with Kaylin Jose finding Lucia Fernandez under the basket for the easy layup. Fernandez ended the night with 24 points. The Cardinals pressed early and often against Urbana as Natalie Fontaine snags the steal, taking it coast to coast and fighting her way for the layup. Ball State walked to a dominant win over Urbana with a final score of 151-72. Tony Sandlaben is live at Worthen Arena with a full game recap.
Thanks, Jacqueline. The Ball State exhibition game did just wrap up. I'm going to start out with a few numbers for you here. How about a score? 79-34. That does kind of sound like a final score, doesn't it? Not tonight. That was the halftime score. In this new 4-quarter format that women's basketball is starting, Ball State put up 151 points and surrendered 72 to the D2 school from Ohio, Urbana. Now, some notable names to point out. Natalie Fontaine looked unstoppable. She was in midseason form, finished with 24 points. She was done in the third quarter. Renee Bennett also finished in the third quarter. She had 13 points, also looked unstoppable. Ball State offensively certainly looking in midseason form. Now, giving up 72 points might have a little cause for concern on the defensive side, but the season is just underway. Live in Worthen Arena, Tony Sandlaben, NewsLink Indiana.
The Cardinals will open their regular season at Charlotte on Friday, November 13th. For the second week in a row, a Ball State women's volleyball player is being recognized for her outstanding play on the court. Amanda Raker was named the MAC West Division Offensive Player of the Week. Raker helped guide her team to a pair of wins last week, turning in her best 2-match performance of her career. The 5th-year senior combined for an .850 hitting percentage and 18 kills and wins over Toledo and Buffalo. Raker and the Cardinals will be back in action as they head out to Western Michigan Friday night. Ball State assistant softball coach Jennie Gilbert signed a professional 2-year contract with the Akron Racers of the National Pro Fast Pitch League Tuesday afternoon. Gilbert was part of the Racers roster in 2015 when she started 31 games for the club, ending her season with a .216 batting average and logging 22 hits and 5 home runs. Gilbert was a 2-time All-American outfielder for Ball State before graduating in 2014. 1 year later, she took a coaching job with her alma mater. The Cardinals will still have their assistant coach during the season, as Gilbert's time at Akron does not start until the end of the collegiate softball season.
And thank you, Jacqueline, for the sports report. Coming up, will Taylor Swift shake off certain allegations?
All this and more coming up with your NewsLink Indiana Entertainment News.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Blair Bradshaw with your entertainment news. Taylor Swift has been hit with a $42 million lawsuit, copyright infringement, for her Shake It Off lyrics. Jesse Bram, a non-denominational minister in Los Angeles, said if he would not have recorded his song Haters Gonna Hate in 2013, Swift would not have written her 1989 hit. Bram's song only has 400,000 views on YouTube, and it's very unlikely Swift is one of them. Even if Swift did pull from Bram's song, the court will have to decide the fair use in question and will likely sway in Tiff's favor. Taylor Swift may be dealing with a lawsuit, but that doesn't stop her from reaching out to her fans. Swift fulfilled an item on Melissa Dome's bucket list at a meet and greet in Tampa Halloween weekend.
Share Melissa Dome's story of survival in our domestic violence awareness campaign. Stabbed 32 times in an attack that stole half her smile and nearly her life.
I was in an abusive relationship, and 3 months after ending it, my high school ex-boyfriend returned in a jealous rage.
But tonight, we want to share her story of living.
It was just so unbelievable.
The 23-year-old says the soundtrack to her life runs parallel to Taylor Swift's songs, lyrics she got to sing along with the superstar this weekend in Tampa. Dome also had the chance to deliver a letter after the concert and tell her inspiration face to face.
You were the music that played in my hospital room and throughout my recovery. Or I told her that, you know, I survived a few years ago an attempted murder case. Yeah, she's like, are you serious? And she goes, can you believe that and then she wanted everyone else to know. She goes, this girl survived this many stab wounds and she survived and she's here. And she told me, you're so beautiful.
15, 30.
Taylor Swift's mom promised Dome that her letter would be hand-delivered to Taylor to read on the plane.
Well, thank you, Blair. So, Michael, one last look at weather. What do we have to expect?
Well, we have some fog coming for the overnight hours. It's not going to be too bad. There should be some patchy fog around the region tomorrow, maybe some of those rural areas, especially Madison County, seeing a little bit of a thicker fog, but overall, more warm weather on the way for tomorrow.
Well, that sounds good, and that's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to watch tomorrow night right here at 9 p.m. on Cardinal Vision.
And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Enjoy your evening.